Hey shy people, what is your worst experience? Going to a crowded party with one friend who really wanted to drag you along but then disappears. Or my damn panic button. Frantic button mashing. Time for the ol' Irish exit. I did that at a work party once. I made my appearance, said hi to the appropriate people, and then felt kind of uncomfortable for a while. Like not being sure what to do with your hands, but it's your entire person. Fortunately, the packed patio area was directly connected to the parking lot, so I was able to disappear when I noticed the opportunity. Next year my wife was around, so I had her as my social fallback in between interactions. Had a much better time. Like not being sure what to do with your hands, but it's your entire person. This phrase speaks to my soul. My outgoing mother announcing to everyone how shy I am. Got one better. My outgoing mother announcing to everyone that I must be cold as she dead stares at my chest. She did this during my teenage years. As a shy, anxiety-ridden teenage girl, holy duck. Edit, thank you to the Redditors that gave awards. It was very kind of you. I am sorry that anyone else had to deal with a mother like mine. I hope you all are doing good in life despite them. My mom asking me in a crowded car full of my classmates if I needed her help learning how to shower. I am struggling hard to try and think of what kind of context could have possibly been at play for her to have even asked you this question at all, let alone for her to have decided that publicly among others was a good course of action. Mental health issues, mostly depression, meant my hair was commonly greasy due to hygiene issues. Mom thought this meant I didn't know how to shower, not that I had a hard time disciplining myself too. Mom has no filter, and ergo, humiliation. My parents did this same sort of thing all of the time growing up. Sometimes with things I legitimately didn't know how to do, but still, ask me in private please. In my high school Spanish class, some kid screamed, "Do you ever talk at me?" in front of the entire class. Super embarrassing at the time, but hilarious to look back on. Edit, for those curious, I said nothing in response. If only I could go back in time. Had a similar incident in freshman science class in high school. Hardly ever talked, and I guess the teacher somehow got it in her head that I was mute. She came up to me early one morning just before class with a sign language interpreter and asked if I needed participating in class. Looked her dead in the eye and said I can talk. She turned about 7 different shades of red before telling the interpreter they wouldn't be needed. Poor soul was just trying to help. No good deed goes unpunished, teacher. I was in a group therapy session as a kid, like maybe 14. I really had to go to the bathroom, but we weren't allowed to during the session. I was sort of balled up in the center of the room, not like emotional or anything, just sitting comfortably hugging my knees cause all the spots on the couch were taken. Some girl had just finished telling a story of her abuse. She was crying and there was no other sound. Was sort of that awkward but respectful silence that fills the space when you want to be supportive but saying anything at all would somehow seem inconsiderate. It was into this yawning void that I farted. I knew it was coming. It'd been staving off the gurgling in my stomach for some time now. It'd broken into a sweat already with the sheer effort of will to delay the inevitable. It was no use. I tried to discreetly shift my weight and maybe muffle the sound. I failed. This was neither silent nor deadly. It effortlessly shattered the silence like sledgehammer versus a Christmas ornament. Another moment of silence swallowed the sound, but it was a void of disbelief. Then some kid yelled as loud as they could. "Jen farted." And the entire room collapsed into helpless laughter while I promptly turned to stone and died on the spot. Hopefully it gave the crying girl a giggle too. It actually did. It's pretty hard not to give in to the absurdity of the moment. You know if you're not the one who farted anyways. Imagine bravely sharing your story of abuse and someone farts, lol. I mean, I resolutely tried to defeat the beast within, but am only a mere mortal. Part of me thinks she was probably grateful for the distraction, honestly. That silence was probably as awkward for her as it was for us. Yeah, you probably made her day a little brighter, albeit at your expense. Here's a new lens for this story: not all heroes wear capes. I mean, if they do, that cape is flapping behind them. From the farting, I mean. I am a bit shy when first meeting people, so after getting to know me, I often hear when I first met you, "I thought you were such a bitch." Cool. I get told that I seem intimidating, which I always find bizarre. When you don't talk, they don't know about you, what you like to do, where you're from, etc., so you become an unapproachable unknown. As someone who gets called intimidating a lot, this is enlightening. Thank you. I'm 62 and 220 pounds, and I don't talk for shit. Everyone feels scared of me until they realize I'm a huge pussy. When you talk and people say things like, "Oh, I didn't know you could talk," or "This is the first time I hear you talking." In the same vein as this, when I was a shy kid instead of a shy adult, I'd spend quite a while in my bedroom in order to get personal space away from my family, who are all chatterboxes. Almost every time I finally came out into the family room for a little bit of socializing, everyone would always make a huge deal of seeing me. "I didn't even know you were here. Wow, she's socializing. She's out of her cave." And so many other things, always said so derisively. Always made me just want to go back into my room to hide. This is exactly why when I see my new stepsister, 13, come out of her room, I tell her it's nice to see her and ask her what she wants to do. She always ends up thanking me for spending time with her, but I always thank her back because she's legitimately one of my closest friends. Edit, thank you for the wholesome award. Edit 2, holy shit, this is the most awards I've ever gotten. Please take this as an example and treat your step-siblings like they're your actual siblings. Or better. You're the best sister. Lol, I'm trying. I have a blood sister who's a year younger than me, and I'm trying to fix my mistakes with my stepsis. Learn and grow. As a kid, my shyness was crippling. I got locked in the toilet in school, started yelling, crying, and the teacher had to remove the lock to get me out. The whole class was standing behind him, looking at me. Geez, I thought that stuff only happened in the movies. Hope you're doing well, Edit. This is the most upvotes I've ever gotten. I didn't think I was saying anything important enough, but thanks. Definitely not only a movie thing, haha. I experienced something similar, but some mean kids manipulated the lock when I was inside, and that's why I got stuck. Super traumatic. I hated my childhood. Went to a birthday party maybe when I was 1,415 years old. Birthday girl was a mutual friend of my best friend at the time, and I always had the impression she disliked me for stealing her best friend. I didn't go to hardly any birthday slumber parties, so I was excited. I was only close with two of the girls there, but I wanted to get along with the other girl. I had no ill feelings, more just always worried she hated me. Well, anyway, she says, "Hey, go check the closet," so I go to the closet in this basement hangout area, walk in, and then the lights shut off and the door slammed shut. I remember feeling like absolute garbage. They were laughing at me behind the door as I jiggled the knob to get out and pounded on the door. I was sobbing and I couldn't stop. I wasn't in there very long, but it felt like a lifetime. And I was always sort of a social outcast. I never really fit in anywhere with most people, so having this done to me pretty much confirmed my insecurity that I didn't belong anywhere and nobody liked me. My two friends were soft-spoken and were horrified at the other girls laughing. I was so embarrassed, and it put me in a tough position because I can't just tell the birthday girl what she did was nasty, so everyone kinda awkwardly pretended nothing happened. Never saw her much again after that. I'm in my 20s now, and that memory makes my chest hurt still. Who the hell does that? I was in elementary and took a bus home each day. I missed my stop and I was so terribly shy and quiet the bus driver didn't hear me. He went on to pick up high school students and didn't notice I was still on the bus. The high school students were so sweet and kind. They alerted the bus driver and he took me home. My mom was freaking out by the time I got home. Happened to me too. Ducking wackiest shit I ever experienced. I expected these older kids to be dicks, then they're the nicest folks ever. Edit, this comment on an Ask Reddit got more upvotes than I've ever received given combined. Yeah, learned much later in life looking back. Kids in middle school are pretty much the worst group of beings alive. They don't exactly mean to be, and not all of them are, but it's so common for these 12 to 13 years olds to be right in that spot where they don't quite ducking understand how horrible they actually are being, and people just brush it off as them being kids. In elementary school, everyone's loud and screaming and running around, just doing their best to not shit themselves. Middle school is that I'm a fucking sociopath for a few years while I learn what the hell empathy is. And then you hit high school where you get the typical teen rebellious phase, learning who they want to be. Which I am sure is a nightmare for parents, but when I was in high school, some kids were just assholes who like to put down others. But I have also seen those same kids get one step away from a full-out ass beating because some actually nice high school dude realized the shit wasn't okay. I had a less than happy middle school life, so I'm a bit jaded here. But the amount of abuse and bullying and pure sociopathic behavior is nuts.